Governor Cox spoke with President Biden today in a virtual meeting about the COVID-19 vaccine rollout.
You're doing a heck of a job.
What the governor says the state will not do when it comes to the vaccine and what he wants from the White House.
2 inmates are accused of kidnapping correctional officers and lighting a fire here at the state prison in Draper. I'm Haley Higgins with the crazy details.
It was a cool spring day here across the state. Lots of sunshine plus some isolated showers and thunderstorms. But coming up, our temperatures are on the rise. I'll let you know how long they'll last in the forecast.
A woman's not capable strength-wise to do what needs to be done.
Challenge accepted. How one Ogden police officer defied the odds to become the first ever female on the Ogden Metro SWAT team.
I think there was something important that I needed to do in the future.
A 10-year-old survived a motorcycle crash that killed her father. She shares her incredible story only with Fox 13 News, plus what she wishes she could tell her dad.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13's Live at 5 starts right now.
President Joe Biden turns to Utah Governor Spencer Cox for ideas on meeting the goal of vaccinating 70% of Americans by July 4th. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Bob Evans.
And I'm Kelly Chapman. This comes as Utah is making plans to start offering the vaccine to children pending federal approval. Ben Winslow has the latest from Utah's Capitol Hill.
The governor was among a handful participating in a virtual meeting with the president, sharing best practices. But he also had a request for the White House.
And it's great to connect with you all.
Governor Spencer Cox appeared with other governors in a virtual meeting with the president, sharing best practices. Utah is doing well with vaccinations, even if national metrics claim we're not. That's because nearly a third of our state is not eligible for the vaccine.
That's not exactly the right metric to be using, but we're very excited for the announcement to allow younger people to get vaccinated because Utah has more of them than anywhere else. Mr. President, we're really good at having kids here.
The governor says Utah has had to be flexible. He touted the state's adoption of mobile pop-up clinics to reach people who haven't had the chance to get the vaccine. But reaching the vaccine hesitant might involve some model behavior.
And that's one area where we could use some help from the White House and others, and that is modeling what a fully vaccinated person can do. I like to say that we have fully vaccinated people, we should start acting like it. And that's a big motivation to get the unvaccinated to want to get vaccinated.
We're just getting there now to the degree that I think you're going to see a more aggressive effort on our part.
Meanwhile, the state is making plans to start vaccinating children ages 12 to 15 once the CDC gives the go-ahead. For Utah, it's a big deal because we have so many children.
A lot. We have a lot of kids that this can apply to, and honestly, we're ready to go.
Utah's Department of Health estimates as many as 215,000 children in Utah could soon qualify for the vaccine, and it could cause COVID cases to plummet.
So it absolutely will make a difference. I think that especially as we're starting to see some of the variants that really do seem to have a harder effect on young people, I think parents are going to feel more and more comfortable getting their kids vaccinated.
The CDC is meeting on Wednesday to decide if the Pfizer vaccine should be offered to children. If it's approved, Utah could start offering it by the end of this week. On the Hill, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Utah has an estimated 215,000 children between the ages of 12 and 15 who will soon be eligible to receive one version of the vaccine. The Food and Drug Administration granted emergency use authorization of the Pfizer vaccine in that age group yesterday, with rollout expected to begin in the coming days. On Fox 13 News Live at noon, we spoke in depth with Rich Lakin, the Utah Health Department's immunization manager.
The less people we have vaccinated, the more that COVID virus just continues to circulate. And it doesn't matter what your age is, even though they are less likely to die or be hospitalized, they still can spread it.
Our recent Kaiser Family Foundation survey showed that nationally, 30% of parents with children 12 to 15 years old will get them vaccinated right away. 26% say they plan to wait, and 23% say they would not give the COVID-19 vaccine to their children.
As of today, more than 33% of all Utahns are fully vaccinated, including more than 80% of people over the age of 60. This after another 11,000 doses were administered in the state since yesterday's report.
There were 224 new cases of COVID-19 today. 5 more men and 6 more women have died of the virus. All of them were older than 65, with the exception of 1 woman and 2 men. 8 of the deaths occurred before April 11th. 142 people are currently hospitalized with COVID-19.
2 Utah prison inmates are accused of locking correctional officers in a cell before setting a fire and causing a riot.
And they did this while allegedly drunk. Fox 13's Haley Higgins is live in Draper this afternoon. Haley, what have you learned?
Yeah, the alleged riot happened in the Wasatch Building back in November. It took 6 months for the 2 inmates to be charged with felony aggravated kidnapping and rioting. Samuela Lomu and his fellow inmate, Taniela Salakilu, are allegedly at the center of a dangerous incident inside the so-called Baker Block on November 22nd.
This was a very volatile situation.
As an officer walked through the block, charging documents show he smelled alcohol coming from inside the men's cell. During a search, court documents show they found a bag of fruit that smelled like alcohol and illegal contraband. Lomu is accused of threatening the officer, saying if he took the TV, he would rip his head off. Then another inmate shut the cell door, locking 2 correctional officers inside for more than an hour.
The prison officials later having to go in there and extract these 2 individuals who had been locked into that cell, and the other prisoners were not dispersing, and they had to sort of forcefully go in there to bring these individuals out of there.
Lomu was also accused of throwing a metal box and setting bed sheets on fire, which damaged the prison. SWAT was called to get the 2 men and 6 other inmates back into their cells.
These are serious charges, and these are allegations of serious felonies.
Prosecutors say it took nearly 6 months to file charges because there was no immediate threat to the public and the men were already in prison. Now, both men will be back in court to face these charges later this month. Now, if they're found guilty of that federal aggravated kidnapping, they could spend the rest of their life behind bars. Reporting live in Draper, Haley Higgins, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Haley mentioned the Baker Block. That's a medium security housing area inside the Wasatch Building that can house nearly 200 inmates. The worst prison riot in Utah history took place back on May 20th, 1951, when the inmates gained control of the main security building. Now, much of the facility was vandalized and involved 260 prisoners. After a 4-hour standoff with UHP and other agencies, the prisoners returned to their cells.
Well, it's another coolish day, but can you feel us making that turn around the corner into the warmer temperatures?
The fact that it's no longer Monday, now that it's Tuesday, I think.
So much better.
Yeah, mentally, we're just there anyway. Plus the warmer weather, we've got stuff to look forward to later this week. So if you're having a tough week, at least you have some nice weather to look forward to. Right now, downtown Salt Lake City, dry roads, mostly sunny sky. 63 for Salt Lake, 62 for our friends in Ogden, and for Provo, currently 62 degrees. Now, looking at satellite and radar, we have sunshine across a lot of the state. However, there's still a low pressure system off to our northeast, and that is going to continue bringing us the chance for some isolated showers through the evening, through about sunset. So for the next few hours for the Uintas and over towards Bear Lake, might hear a few rumbles of thunder, but we've got temperatures that feel comfortable here across the state right now. It's about 60 to 65 degrees for the Wasatch Front, 60s and 70s for southern Utah, 80s currently in St. George, and just a little bit warmer than this time 24 hours ago. So yes, Bob, it is a little warmer out there by about 5 degrees here across northern Utah, and for southern Utah, a little bit cooler down towards the St. George and Cedar City area. A little breezy, but we're going to have more wind impacting us on Saturday with some areas of blowing dust. But for tonight, we'll have dry roads with mostly sunny sky. For tomorrow morning, a cool start, 45. But those temperatures are just getting going. I'll let you know what you can expect the next couple of days coming up in the full forecast.
Allison, thank you. Several governors, including Governor Cox, are demanding action at our nation's southern border. Coming up, what they want to see done to manage the border crisis.
Plus, could the proposed Instagram Kids social media platform be stopped before it gets off the ground? How Utah's Attorney General is now getting involved.
In national news, 20 governors, including Utah Governor Spencer Cox, have written a letter to President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris asking them to immediately take action along the southern border.
Bob, that letter says, quote, at a time when our country is trying to recover from a once-in-a-generation pandemic, the last thing we need is a self-created crisis that exploits families, undermines public safety, and threatens our national security. The border crisis has been growing for months now. Border Patrol agents say they need more manpower to help keep things under control. Just into the Fox 13 newsroom, we are learning more about what led to a Colorado man killing 6 people at a birthday party over the weekend before taking his own life. Colorado Springs police say the 28-year-old suspect was in a relationship with one of the victims and had a history of controlling and jealous behavior. Police also say the suspect was not invited to the birthday party, calling this whole incident an act of domestic violence. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, there are resources available. Please call the number on your screen, 1-800-897-LINK. That's 1-800-897-5465. If you are ever in immediate danger, call 911.
In Georgia, the 21-year-old man indicted in the fatal spa shootings near Atlanta earlier this year will face the death penalty. Robert Aaron Long is facing several murder charges in the deaths of 8 people. 7 of the victims killed were women, 6 were of Asian descent. Long previously told authorities his shootings were not racially motivated, but that he had a sex addiction.
Listen to this bizarre story from Texas and check out the video. A murder suspect who police say was housing a Bengal tiger in his yard is now in custody, but the big cat is still on the loose. Houston police say this man, 26-year-old Victor Cuevas, was out on bond for a prior murder charge when neighbors spotted the tiger in his front yard. Officers eventually arrested Cuevas and say the tiger is not the only exotic animal at his home.
We have reports that he does have monkeys. Monkeys are not illegal to have in the city of Houston if they're under 30 pounds.
The suspect's attorney says Cuevas doesn't own the tiger, just that he caught it and brought it to safety.
Boy.
Very bizarre.
Violence is intensifying between Israel and Hamas, what a Utah expert believes must happen to scale back the fighting.
And how much is your internet bill? Could you use $50 a month to help pay for it? Well, after the break, a program starting tomorrow that will do that, and a lot of people qualify.
The Gaza Strip is seeing a recent spike in violence as fighting between Israel and Hamas militants has intensified. Fox 13 News is looking at what's behind the attacks. Amos Giora, a University of Utah law professor and former Israeli defense law advisor, spoke to us from his home in Jerusalem today, just miles from the violence. He explained that the fighting stems from a court battle over who owns the land in East Jerusalem. And Giora says the recent canceling of the Palestinian elections pushed Hamas over the edge.
It was the cancellation by the Palestinian Authority of the elections. I think the Palestinian Authority canceled the elections because I think they're genuinely concerned that Hamas would defeat them in the polls. And I think that Hamas is, again, flexing its muscles.
Professor Giora believes only 3 things will bring an end to the fighting. Arab nations need to call Hamas to order. The Palestinian Authority must pressure Hamas to step back, or the Biden administration must insert itself into the situation.
Starting tomorrow, hundreds of thousands of Utahns will be eligible for money to pay for broadband access. Max Roth joins us with an in-depth look at the benefit as well as the state of the internet here in the state of Utah. Max.
Yeah, Kelly, in much of Utah, the fastest internet you can get is the bare minimum to be called broadband officially, 25 megabits downloading per second. Now, that should work for the kinds of schoolwork and work just expected for so many now. But it is expensive. This program offers $50 a month to help pay for broadband, along with discounts on computers. It's called the Emergency Broadband Benefit.
homeless individuals, can they apply for the emergency broadband benefit?
The FCC rolling out the Emergency Broadband Benefit, or EBB. It's a $3 billion program approved for the rest of the pandemic or until the money runs out. And it's available to millions of Americans, including homeless people.
Individuals who are experiencing homelessness are eligible for the program.
But the EBB is meant for a lot more people. For example, anyone who has a Pell Grant for college, households qualifying for free and reduced school lunches or breakfasts this year or last, anyone who can show a substantial loss of income due to job loss or furlough. The program is meant to bridge the gap between internet haves and have-nots. The internet is expensive, more so in America than most countries. A modest plan of 25 megabits per second averages $74.58 a month without additional fees. A plan fast enough to support multiple kids in online classes and parents in Zoom meetings for work costs an average of $81.19. HighSpeedInternet.com showed at the end of last year, western and rural states tend to have the slowest internet speeds, and we pay a premium for it. The FCC tracks access to broadband throughout the country. And look at San Juan County. That 100 megabit connection simply isn't available to 93% of the county. It's not available to 44% of Wayne County, 77% of Piute County, or 58% of Rich County. In fact, looking at the state as a whole, 43% of rural Utah and 63% of residents on tribal lands couldn't get 100 megabit per second broadband if money were no object. Eligibility for this program, for this aid, is broad, so it's worth seeing if you qualify. We'll link you to the application on fox13now.com, but the easiest thing to do is call your internet provider. All of the big companies in Utah are signed up and can qualify you themselves. Some even offer free devices, and they are legally required to tell you when the benefits are ending, and they have to have your permission to continue the service after that. Live in studio, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Fascinating stuff. Thank you so much, Max. Did you see the mountains today?
Yes.
Did you see the blue sky and the white clouds up against the mountains
It's
today?
one of those days that you just absolutely love living here across Utah, which most days for me. Now, our old mill camera showing you that we do have the blue sky. When it gets to be inversion season, that gets to be tough, but we've got a really nice night ahead of us. The temperatures will be around 60 degrees through 9 o'clock this evening, and we'll have that sunshine until our sun sets around 8:30. But it's a live view right now from our Oquirrh cam looking into the Salt Lake Valley, where it is 63 degrees right now. Our wind is out of the northwest at 7 miles per hour, but here's the deal. Our temperatures are on the rise. We're going to be heating up here in the next couple of days, and we still have a chance for some remaining isolated showers and potentially some even rumbles of thunder up towards Bear Lake this evening, but that'll be really decreasing once that sun sets around 8:30. But a possibility, not going to rule it out. Now, our best chance for any isolated showers would be for the Uintas and then up towards Bear Lake and for southwestern Wyoming. But temperatures here across our gorgeous state currently, it's around 60 to 65 degrees for almost all of you. Temperatures up into Evanston, 51, and for St. George, about 80 degrees. Now, our temperatures here in Salt Lake, yes, it's comfortable, but it's below average. An average high actually 71 degrees. And today we've only reached 63, which is where we are right now. And we are a far cry from a record high of 91 degrees with that sun setting tonight at 8:35. Let's talk about the wind, because wind was a big problem the last couple of days. It is still a bit breezy for Bryce, Milford, and Ely, but nothing that's causing any major problems. Now, we do have temperatures that are going to be so hot the next couple of days, but still another chilly start tomorrow. 43 degrees after tomorrow morning. Our overnight temperatures will be a bit more comfortable. Highs tomorrow, low 70s for Salt Lake City, so we're going to be above average for your Wednesday. We'll have lots of sunshine here across the state. And for the rest of the evening, we're going to keep that cloud cover mostly into eastern Utah. Chance for a few of those isolated showers into northeastern Utah and southwest Wyoming through 7 o'clock tonight. That'll be dying down. Then we'll have a few clouds heading into the next few days, and come Friday, potentially some chances for a few showers to develop as we look at this upcoming weekend and also areas of blowing dust. We'll talk more about that in the next full forecast, but first thing tomorrow morning, it'll be around 35 to 45 degrees here across Utah, mid-50s for St. George, and by tomorrow afternoon, about 60 to 75 degrees. St. George, you're going to be around 90 for your Wednesday. For Thursday, 96, Friday, 95, and then for Saturday, warm and windy with 89 degrees ahead of a cool down. So from Friday to Sunday, it'll be 10 degrees cooler. And for the Wasatch Front, for Saturday, we're going to see the chance for some blowing dust. Same thing on Saturday night. By Sunday, a few chances for thunderstorms Sunday evening. We'll talk more about that coming up in the next full forecast.
Instead of having 5 officers respond, which has a potential to amp up the situation, we might only need 2.
A group of police officers is going the extra mile to help those in a mental health crisis. See how this squad is expanding to cover the Salt Lake Valley.
We as a community, if we have enough to share. And we should make sure everybody that in our community has what they need.
Plus, one nonprofit is looking to help Davis County teens experiencing homelessness. How you can help out.
It's absolutely brutal. It's like nothing I've ever been through in my entire life.
And what one Ogden police officer has done is something only a handful of women can say they've done here in Utah. Who she is and what she's accomplished. The Colonial Pipeline shutdown has American Airlines making some changes.
The air carrier says it has added stops on some of its long-haul routes to refuel its planes. This is a result of the cyber attack that forced the shutdown of the major U.S. pipeline earlier this week. American says 2 daily long-haul flights from Charlotte, North Carolina were affected by the fuel shortage on the East Coast. American's flights from Charlotte to Honolulu, normally a direct flight, will now stop in Dallas-Fort Worth so customers can change planes. Now, the other impacted route is from Charlotte to London. It will now stop in Boston to refuel.
Victoria's Secret and Bath & Body Works are about to be separate companies. Both have been part of L Brands, which is spinning off Victoria's Secret. The intimate apparel company has struggled in recent years with increased competition from online retailers. The company canceled its televised fashion show last year and closed hundreds of locations across the U.S. and Canada.
Starbucks summer menu launched today. Look at this. A strawberry funnel cake Frappuccino is the headliner. These drinks always get me. Starbucks says the drink was inspired by a, quote, nostalgic flavor reminiscent of carefree summer moments. That sounds and tastes good, I'm sure. The beverage has layers of strawberry puree and whipped cream swirled with funnel cake flavored Frappuccino. That's not it. It's topped with crunchy powdered sugar funnel cake pieces. This is a dessert in a cup right there.
You're going to need 3 of them.
I'll try it. I'll take it. Also, Starbucks. The unicorn cake pops, those are good too. They're making a return.
She's smiling really big. Investors around the world retreated from stocks today with a sell-off in technology companies spreading to other sectors as concerns about inflation spurred a return of volatility in the markets. The Dow tumbled 474 points to close at 34,269. The Nasdaq lost just 12. The S&P dropped 36.
I saw the truck turn, and that's when I blacked out, and then I just woke up rolling.
This 10-year-old girl from Orem walked away from a deadly motorcycle crash with just scrapes and bruises. Coming up at 5:30, hear why she thinks she's still here in a story you will only see on Fox 13 News.
As a reporter, he closely followed the Chad and Lori Daybell story. Now he's being called as a witness.
And Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes joins an effort to stop the app Instagram Kids. Find out why. Still to come. Breaking news just into the Fox 13 newsroom. Rio Tinto Stadium is updating the rules for fans attending Real Salt Lake home games. Starting with this Saturday's match, fans will not be required to wear masks. However, they will strongly be encouraged to do so. Special seating arrangements will be made for people more comfortable with masks and social distancing. Capacity still will be capped at 10,000 fans inside the stadium. Now, staff, security, and concession workers will still be required to wear masks, and on-field staff will follow MLS safety guidelines.
It's just kind of confusing. It's just like it feels like a bad dream. It's like a bad dream that I'm stuck in.
Fifth grader Chanel Huddleston was sitting on the back of her father's motorcycle Saturday when a truck hit them. She went flying but miraculously survived. Unfortunately, her father, Jeremy Huddleston Schmidt, did not.
Sydney Glenn spoke exclusively with his daughter today. It's a story you will only see here.
10-year-old Chanel says she remembers waking up as she was rolling about 50 feet right in the middle of this busy intersection. Yet all she has is a couple of scrapes and bruises. She says she just knows there's a reason that she survived.
Every day people drive through this busy Orem intersection, not knowing this is where 10-year-old Chanel Huddleston saw her dad for the last time.
I saw the truck turn, and that's when I blacked out, and then I just woke up rolling.
A devastating crash killed her dad as Jessica Taylor watched in horror.
And I saw a little girl rolling in the street.
She quickly jumped in to shield Chanel from seeing the unimaginable.
She was taking her helmet off, and I made sure she was focused on me so that she wouldn't turn around and see what was behind her.
Somehow, Chanel walked away.
All I got is some road rash on my knees. I got something on my ankle right here.
She believes she's alive for a reason.
I think there was something important that I needed to do in the future.
Now, days later, Chanel gets to hug the woman who helped her.
Yeah, I already love you so much, and I feel like that connection probably has a lot to do with your dad, and I truly, truly believe he was there with us the whole time. I don't think he left you at all either.
Chanel can't stop thinking about her dad.
We are all getting ready to take off in our cool car.
We went on this roller coaster for the first time, and we had a good time.
Do you have any last minute words to say to our audience from the NASCAR circuit?
And all the times they shared. She just wishes she could talk to him one more time.
I love you. Because I forgot to tell him that this morning, the morning that he died.
Now all she can do is pray and hold on to those memories with her dad.
I've been praying for that. I hope my dad is having a good time, and I hope that my family is getting through this okay, and that all of us will get through this.
Chanel says that she plans on making sure she helps other people because that's what her dad loved to do, and that's what people really knew him for in the community. In Orem, Sydney Glenn, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The family has set up a GoFundMe page. All the money raised will go into a trust fund to help Chanel and her brother. We'll link you to it from fox13now.com.
We have an update now on breaking news from last night on Fox 13 News at 9. Unified Police have identified the man who drowned in Holiday as 35-year-old Melvin Danilo Castro. He's from Kearns. Authorities say he and another construction worker took kayaks out onto a private pond at 2600 East Walker Lane. Castro tipped over and never resurfaced. Officers say he was not able to swim and was not wearing a life jacket. Investigators say that and the cold water temperature were major factors in the drowning.
Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes is joining 44 other state attorneys general in asking Facebook to stop Instagram Kids. That's an app being specially created for children under 13. The bipartisan group has sent a letter to Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg. They say Facebook, which owns Instagram, has historically failed to protect children on its platforms. Reyes says it's a venue for child predators, bullying, and scams. The 45 states' attorneys general also don't believe Facebook can put in enough protections for children.
Defense attorneys for Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow Daybell have subpoenaed a reporter who's closely followed the case. Nate Eaton, with our partners at East Idaho News, first confronted the parents of J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan in Hawaii back in January of 2019 when they were living there, and while investigators were trying to find the children. The bodies of J.J. and Tylee were found buried in Chad's backyard at his Salem, Idaho home 11 months ago. Now Eaton has been summoned to appear in court as a witness on June 9th, 1 year to the day of the children's bodies being found. East Idaho News says they have retained an attorney and intend to fight the subpoena to prevent Eaton from having to appear in court. Neither of the Daybells have been charged with murder in this case. They only face charges of conspiracy to conceal evidence in the death of Lori's children.
The maker of TestUtah.com's COVID-19 tests is asking a federal judge to drop a lawsuit. An investor in Co-Diagnostics Tests is suing the Utah-based company, accusing it of making false claims. In new court documents, Co-Diagnostics says Gelt Trading can't say what statements are false. Co-Diagnostics acknowledges that questions were raised in the media about the accuracy of its tests, but insists it never made misleading claims. The Silicon Slopes COVID-19 initiative Test Utah faced a lot of scrutiny in the early days of the pandemic. It is now under state health department oversight.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Today's sunshine is helping some potted plants. I bought them over the weekend, Allison, and last night's cold temperatures had them not looking so pretty this morning. All shriveled up.
Even my indoor plants, I have a ficus tree, plant, whatever you want to call it, that was looking very sad today. So hopefully these plants make a comeback. We have warmer temperatures headed our way, but right now here in Salt Lake City at 63 degrees. Much cooler in Denver at 42, Chicago 51, St. Louis 57, Dallas 61. 94 currently in Phoenix. Satellite and radar here across the state. Sunshine for most of you. A few clouds across the Wasatch Back and eastern Utah, and some isolated showers that will be possible for the Uintas and up towards Bear Lake this evening, but not expecting any big impacts from that, or really any impacts at all. Temperatures currently around 60 to 65 degrees here across the state. Salt Lake City, your planner, 10 p.m. tonight, 51 degrees. By 8 a.m., 50 degrees. If you wake up before 8 a.m., it will be in the 40s tomorrow morning, and by noon, 65 degrees. So we do have warmer temperatures that will be arriving. Still the chance for a few isolated showers through this evening. We'll talk more about that and areas of blowing dust with a chance for some showers and thunderstorms this upcoming weekend. I'll have those details coming up in my next full forecast.
Well, they exist to help citizens having a mental health crisis. Details on the Metro Mental Health Unit and the police officers who comprise it.
The number of homeless teens is growing in Utah, and one group is trying to help them. Details on how you can get involved still to come. We're back in 60 seconds.
Mental health crises account for a large number of situations police officers respond to in Utah, and they're very often extremely tense situations. Our content partners at the Salt Lake Tribune report Utah police fired at 30 people last year, and at least 40% of those people were having a mental health event. There is now a Salt Lake area squad of police officers whose goal is to better deal with people in crisis. The Metro Mental Health Unit has grown over the past 5 years to include officers from several agencies now. If someone from the squad cannot respond to an active crisis themselves, these officers are constantly updating a database which allows officers in other agencies to know more about the person they're dealing with and why that person may be struggling.
We look for anything that we can do to resolve the issue, connect them to resources, connect the family to resources. We've taken people, got their medication for them, given them a ride. Whatever it looks like, we will do it. Our whole role is to co-respond out into the community and deal with people who are having a mental health crisis. We not only respond, but we do case management.
The Metro Mental Health Unit also wants to lessen the strain on frontline officers and free up those resources for more serious crimes. In all, there are 13 members of the unit, including a licensed clinical social worker.
A northern Utah nonprofit is collecting supplies to help homeless teens in Davis County. The group Young Caring for Our Young says there are 1,200 homeless teens in Davis County. It's collecting donations through May 20th to make hygiene kits for teens in the community. They need shampoo and conditioner, body wash, deodorant, toothpaste, and toothbrushes. All of the kits will be donated to the Teen Drop-In Center in Clearfield, as well as to other community pantries at local high schools.
We have so much as a community and as a company, and our employees know they have so much, that we just felt like we have room to give, and let's do it.
Other needed items include large quantities of laundry detergent, fabric softener, and towels for local teen drop-in centers. If you'd like to donate, do so at Young Power Sports in Layton, Bountiful, or Centerville. The Department of Housing and Urban Development says Utah had close to 3,000 people experiencing homelessness on any given day. 260 were family households, 211 were veterans, 163 were unaccompanied young adults aged 18 to 24, and 512 were individuals experiencing chronic homelessness.
I've had several administrations just look at me and go, I didn't think it could be done.
Only a handful of women have accomplished what one Ogden SWAT team member has. I'm Erin Cox, and coming up next, I'm going to introduce you to her.
Real Salt Lake coming off their first loss of the season. We'll hear from the team as they look to learn from their mistakes. And Jordan Clarkson just about led a Jazz on an epic comeback last night against the Warriors. He'll tell us what he liked from the team coming up in sports. Jordan Clarkson with 41.
One police officer in Ogden has made history, accomplishing something no other woman has done in her city.
She's impressive. Erin Cox has the interview you will only see here.
Detective Jenna Robbins has beat all the odds against her.
I never dreamed I'd be here.
A dream and a passion driven from a time in her life when Detective Robbins was a statistic.
I got pregnant in high school, and then it changed my world completely. About 70% of children born to teen moms become teen moms, and I don't want that for my child. So part of my driving force for literally almost everything I do is to raise my children to be successful people.
Robbins married the father of her child and moved out to Utah for his work. When they divorced, Robbins decided to stay.
Utah was just a better home for my children.
Maya, now 10 years old, and Mark, now 6.
Everything's for them. Everything I do is so they can have a better life than I had.
That's why when Robbins heard that no woman had become a part of the Ogden Metro SWAT team, she decided she would.
I would wake up at 3:30 in the morning, and I'd go on a 3 to 5 mile run with a 45-pound vest on, and then go to work all day and work my 10-hour shift, and then I'd go lift weights in the afternoon. Then I'd go home and be a mom and do laundry and dishes and dinner and homework and get about 3 to 4 hours of sleep and get up and do it again.
Robbins had to pass physical tests like benching her own weight and jumping a 6-foot wall.
I've had several administrations just look at me and go, I didn't think it could be done.
In training and working for her dream, Robbins found a new partner in life.
Department's never had a female on the SWAT team, and now they've had a couple on the SWAT team.
Now Maya and Mark have both parents on the SWAT team, but more importantly, they have someone they can watch work, something they were told wasn't possible.
I hope more women get encouraged and they continue to work and go for it.
Detective Robbins works in the Special Victims Unit, working on cases that involves children. From Ogden, Erin Cox, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Detective Robbins is one of only a handful of women who have joined a SWAT team here in Utah. Back in 2002, Lieutenant Robin Hayden became the first female SWAT officer for Salt Lake City Police. Officer Librata Chacon joined the Unified Police SWAT team in 2010, and Nisha Henderson joined the Provo SWAT team in 2015.
Here's something else that's really neat. It's history. A 45-star flag has been donated to the state of Utah. It's beautiful. This particular flag was flown over the U.S. Capitol when Utah became a state. We were the 45th state in the Union. It was in the possession of Jan Benson's family.
It really didn't belong to the Benson family. It belongs to everyone.
We can all enjoy it now. The flag will be preserved and hung in the Utah State Capitol for visitors to see.
Wow, that's an old flag. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, it's flag flying weather out there. The wind is blowing and those flags are going like this, or like this, I should say.
A little sideways. You know what? And come Saturday, we're also going to have not even just the flags flying, but areas of blowing dust. But for right now here in Salt Lake City, it's 63 degrees. Our wind is out of the northwest at 7 miles per hour. Tomorrow's going to be a really nice day. Now, it will be cold first thing in the morning when you wake up, mid-40s at 6 a.m. here in Salt Lake City. But check out these temperatures. By noon, 65 degrees, and by 4 p.m., 71 here in Salt Lake City. As we look at satellite and radar, I want to point a couple of things out. First of all, there is an area of low pressure that is off to our east. It's now moved into northeastern Colorado. Here across Utah, we have mostly sunny sky. However, still tracking the chance for a few isolated showers to pop up for the Uinta, southwest Wyoming, and up towards Bear Lake. But right now, really not seeing much activity. Could even hear a few rumbles of thunder as well, but mostly just looking at a warming and drying trend through the rest of the week. And then we'll have some unsettled weather this upcoming weekend, and for Saturday, areas of blowing dust a possibility for Saturday and Saturday night. Now, an average high 71 degrees, so if you'll notice, the temperatures today are a bit below average, but come tomorrow, we're back above average, and then we're going to have hot temperatures for Thursday and Friday. But right now, Wasatch Front, it's around 60 to 65 degrees, 53 for Park City, 51 for Evanston, 48 up at Bear Lake, and down in St. George, temperatures currently 81 degrees, and for eastern Utah, around 60 to 65. Wind is gusting right now across southern Utah around 25 miles per hour for Blanding, Bryce, Milford, and over through Ely, about 15 miles per hour. We're seeing some clearing though. Alta Albion Basin was showing cloudy sky an hour ago, but right now we're seeing quite a bit of that blue sky peeking through. And for Salt Lake over the next couple of days, the heat is on. For Thursday and Friday, low 80s. For Saturday, 77. And for Sunday, 74 degrees. Now for Futurecast through the next couple of days, I'll continue with that chance for a few isolated showers through the evening for northeastern Utah and southwestern Wyoming, but we're just going to see some clouds moving through at times as we wrap up the week. Come Friday afternoon, we could see a few isolated showers popping up. For Saturday, areas of blowing dust, and then some cooler temperatures for Sunday. But first thing tomorrow morning, it'll be around 30 to 45 degrees here across the state, so it will be a cold start. Tomorrow morning will be one of our cooler mornings for our 7-day forecast. And for tomorrow afternoon, I'm happy to report this time tomorrow it'll be about 70 to 75 degrees here for the Wasatch Front. Same for southwestern Utah, Cedar, Milford, and up through Delta. And for St. George, close to 90. You're actually close to 100 degrees for Thursday, 96 degrees for a high. Friday, 95. And for Saturday, we'll have mostly sunny sky and also windy conditions, warm and windy. And then you're in the mid-80s to start next week. For the Wasatch Front, our temperatures, 70s tomorrow, 80s for Thursday, Friday. Those are the hottest days in our 7-day forecast. We'll see that chance for some isolated thunderstorms on Sunday night. So we will have some unsettled weather this upcoming weekend. More clouds, the areas of blowing dust, and then you're close to 75 degrees by next Monday. So a Monday to look forward to next week.
The Jazz just announced that Donovan Mitchell's sprained ankle was reevaluated today. He continues to make progress, but will be missing the final 3 games of the regular season. He'll be reevaluated before the playoffs. Jazz were down by 18 points in the second half last night against Golden State, but Jordan Clarkson rallied them back in the fourth quarter, finished with 41 points. But in the end, the Warriors pulled out the win. Jazz, though, still lead the Phoenix Suns for the best record in the West by a game and a half with 3 games to play.
We had a shot to win the game. We were in position. A few little things at the end, well, throughout the whole game, could have put us over the top tonight. So, like I said, we fought hard, showed that we didn't have no quit in us, and we ain't never out of game. So we just gonna continue to play our style and do what we do. So
I was really proud of the way we competed. To me, that's the overarching thing to take from this game. And as I mentioned, a couple things that we know we need to do to have that competitive effort turn into a win.
After starting their season with 2 straight wins, RSL had their first loss of the season on Saturday night despite this amazing goal from Rubio Rubin. Boy, it was a thing of beauty. Put RSL up 1-0. But two late goals from Chris Wondolowski gave San Jose the win. RSL, though, hoping to learn from their mistakes before Saturday's home match against Nashville.
I thought our guys gave a tremendous effort. I thought they were exciting. I thought they were 100% bought into getting a result. I thought they were committed to the defending, and if it were not for two instances, I think we're talking a little bit different. As a team that's developing and growing, I would hope that if we get scored on again, it's not the same way that we just did, that we saw it on video, we learned from it, and now we can move on, and that's development.
We're always trying to learn. It sucks that we lost that game because I think we all thought we were going to go on to get 3 points. But the only thing you can do is learn from it and move on, and I think we've done that this week, and I think we're all looking forward to the game on Saturday.
The Salt Lake Bees finally in the win column after 4 straight losses to start the season. Harrison Winston hit a walk-off 2-run home run in the bottom of the 10th inning last night to beat the Reno Aces 10-9. The Bees and Aces wrap up their 6-game series tonight at Smith's Ballpark. And Parker Gagahan has been named the ECHL Goaltender of the Week after helping the Utah Grizzlies to 3 wins with 1 shutout and a 1.8 goals against average against the Rapid City. The Grizzlies are in Tulsa for 3 games this week. We'll be right back.
We hope you have a great evening. Thanks, everyone, for being with us.
Be sure to join us for Fox 13 News at 9. Have a good evening.